My name is Karim Jovian, and I like Final Fantasy XVI, and I think it might actually be the best Final Fantasy ever made. Let's begin. Just listen to this. Listen. Can you hear that? What I'm doing here is just sharing my opinion, and I know there's a lot of fans out there that might look at me and say that I'm crazy. I probably am. I hope you understand, and if you don't like it, I apologize, but seriously, let's talk. First off, I know the discourse about this game is pretty wild. I see everybody talking about it, and some pretty big channels, pretty prominent ones, saying some pretty heavy things, and a lot of people are sharing this sentiment. Not myself. I am loving Final Fantasy XVI. It is a breath of fresh air for me. And let me tell you, I am hooked. I am hooked, line, and sinker in this game. So, what do I actually like about Final Fantasy XVI? Number one, this guy right here. Man, oh man, this dude is probably one of the coolest protagonists I've seen in a video game in a long time, right? The voice acting, the facial expressions, the hair, the beard. Man's got a beard. Thank you, Square Enix, for representing the bearded dudes. I love it. Thank you. And when you see this man go through what he goes through when he finds out certain things, and I don't want to spoil it for you because I really do want you guys to give this game a shot, you could see the change in his facial expressions. You could see the pain, the dread go across his face. It's so well done that I'm really invested in Clive's journey. And that is a wonderful segue to the fact that you only have to worry about Clive and not his other party members. There's no micromanaging. That's not a bad thing. We got that in Final Fantasy VII. Why do we need it again in Final Fantasy XVI? We're experimenting with Final Fantasy XVI, and they are taking a huge risk, and I love it. And roleplay as only Clive Rosfield. Right. I really enjoy the music. The music is incredible, and I know a lot of you guys like the music too. Check this out. Listen, just listen. Now tell me that doesn't get your blood pumping. Every time I start swinging my blade for the first time or I get into a battle, that music kicks in and my gosh, is it so good. It reinvigorates me every time I'm playing the game.
Good news, lads.
The dark nature of the story in Final Fantasy XVI. I love that it takes itself seriously. I like the fact that serious shit happens. If there's somebody you like, they might end up dead, gone forever, and they're not coming back. I like that. Dark to the point where you feel like you have to fight for something and you want revenge and continue playing to find out what happens next.
And I will not let you stand in my way!
The icon battles. Whoa! You get to play as the icons. I don't know if that's a spoiler. If it is, I'm sorry, but it's awesome. Okay, you get to play as the icons. The icon battles are intense, crazy, and fantabulous. And not only that, the boss battles are some of the most memorable boss battles I have ever played. Okay, the combat, we all know, is the reason a lot of people don't like this, because it's action-based. It's not a turn-based game. We're still getting turn-based JRPGs right now, so I can understand they're trying something different. We should commend them for that risk. It's a huge risk, and it paid off. The Devil May Cry combat director worked on the combat in this game, in Final Fantasy 16. That was a dream I never even knew I had. I enjoyed Final Fantasy games in the past, but the problem was I never got into the turn-based games because I was young and naive. I got into the third-person action games. Metal Gear Solid with the sneaking and all that, and Devil May Cry with the action-based combat. The combat in Final Fantasy XVI is so fluid, it's so visceral, and it's so intuitive and fast-paced, which you can't do in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I'm not knocking Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's a beautiful game. I love it. I beat it. I need to finish the DLC, and I want 100% that game. But the combat was the same 90% of the time. There was really no change. Maybe, one extra move here or there that you get to unlock by using a different weapon, but the combos were pretty much the same. That's a wonderful segue on the things that I really didn't enjoy in this game, or it could have been done better or spent more time on. And that is one of the biggest JRPG elements, exploration. There was little to no exploration in Final Fantasy XVI. I just think that some exploration would have been nice. I want to stumble upon secrets or find a secret rare gold little enemy that if I beat, I can unlock all these separate things. I don't want to have to go to it in an option in setting or whatnot. I want to stumble upon it in the world, but it's not bloated, which is great. We don't want open worlds that are bloated and barren. And another thing that I really didn't enjoy or was really upset with is the icon battles. They're great, but I didn't like the fact that it took control away from you most of the time. You just end up sitting there and watching the battles go on. Sometimes I am in the battle and the icon battles are going incredible, and I'm pressing the button, I'm fighting, I'm comboing, dodging, I'm doing all that, but then all of a sudden, control is taken away from me, and I find myself just having to press X, or pressing, the dodge button, RB, and obviously those were they just feel like they're tacked on. They take way too long. They should be much faster. I mean, they give you a lot of time to press those buttons. It's like if you miss those buttons or you mess up on them, I don't know what's wrong with you. And the combat of the icons is literally sometimes just a cutscene, and that's so upsetting because I want to be there. I want to be the icon and just rip off Garuda's talons myself. I don't want to have to watch that. I want to actually do that and then kind of get the reward of a cutscene, but not just watch it happen and go on. And I'm like, this is going on for a while. It was weird. It sometimes they jump back into the battle, but other times it just continued on to the point where the cutscene defeated the icon by itself. The cutscene defeated the icon, not me. That needs some work, and I wish they added more time and thought into those battles and giving more control to the player. But that's all right. I don't mind it. It's fine. The game took like 4 years to make. I understand they had to cut corners. I am more happy for games to take 4 years than to take 8 years or longer. So that's okay. Those are really only the two things that I didn't really enjoy that much, or I hoped that there was more to it, or they added more to it. But that's okay. That's fine. I could get that in other games. It's all right. Whatever. But I just really, really wish they added a lot more into that. Like, it would be so awesome. I mean, imagine like having the exploration of maybe like Witcher 3 or open world of Witcher 3 with the side quests of Witcher 3, but with the character of Clive in a Final Fantasy world, with that combat that you have in Final Fantasy 16, maybe with collectibles like Star Ocean, the Divine Force, and I don't know, even like Visions of Mana, they did a great, collectathon thing. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna stop thinking right there. I'm probably getting a little too overboard, but yeah, for me, this might change. This might change. I still have a lot more Final Fantasy games to play. I beat 7 Remake. I think Final Fantasy 16 is better than 7 Remake. I will play Rebirth when it comes on PC. I think it might actually probably beat 16 for me, but I'm not sure yet. I'm a little ways into Final Fantasy 4. I'm going to replay all these games on PC anyway. Final Fantasy X is one of my favorites. 7 is one of my favorites. 8 is one of my favorites. But they're my favorites because of nostalgia. When I was a young kid, I used to see my friends playing them. I never really got into them. So hopefully I do as an adult. I do appreciate turn-based games. believe it or not, for an adult and someone who doesn't really have that much time, they're actually really great. So I don't have to focus too hard. I can just sit there and just kind of press a button, choose whatever, you know. You don't have to be so invested. But hey, that's my opinion. Again, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope Final Fantasy 16 does not fail to the point where Square Enix will never mention it or talk about it again. I would like to remind everyone and Square Enix that Final Fantasy 16 sold 3 million copies when it first launched on the PS5, which is 8% of the owners. Not a large number, but that's still great for a new title where nobody knows anything about, and at the same time on a console that has such a low install base compared to the PS4. I kind of do wish they released it on all platforms, even the PS4 and Xbox One, along with PC, day and date, because releasing it a year later on PC killed the hype. I really do wish that was the case. And also, let's not forget, it sold more than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I know. Even though Final Fantasy VII is a lot more popular and a way, way bigger series than 16, which was just a new face and new guy on the block. I'm just saying. But maybe Square Enix, you shouldn't release also Final Fantasy 16 so close to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. They got released way too close to each other. I don't know what you guys were thinking. You could have spread them out. That would have helped. Sadly, that hurt the game, and especially the fact that they were not multi-platform on day and date and releasing on the PlayStation 5 only. I hope the money that Sony gave you really helps you out, because I really do not want to see you guys fail. Square Enix, I love you. I love your games. You've done so much for me growing up, especially when you were just Square and then Squaresoft. I love your games. They've been so special to me, and I hope you continue this new strategy of releasing all your games multi-platform, day and date on every single platform. Please do what Sega's doing. They're smart. Their Yakuza games are still being released on the Yakuza and Like a Dragon games are still being released on PS4 and Xbox One. They know that there are people out there who still cannot afford the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and they know that they want to reach the massive audience to maximize their profits. You need to do that too, Square Enix. I know it's hard and you want to push the envelope. The graphics are amazing on Final Fantasy 16, but the game is so heavy, it's not playing well even on the PC. And I have a 3080, 3090 Ti, and it still chugs along. Please make the right decisions going on in the future. We don't want you to get absorbed. We don't want you to fail, Square Enix. This is from a fan. I buy all your things. I don't have time to play every single one, but I buy every single game you have and that you release. Please listen to your fans. We are telling you, release all your games multi-platform, day and date. And if possible, if you could release your games on prior gens, it's probably too late now, but if you could, like Sega does, then you'll probably do well and get those sales that you're looking for. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And yeah, Final Fantasy 16, baby. I love it. I was literally gawking at it, telling my wife how beautiful this game is. I'm so invested. And I can't wait to finish the game and 100% it. At the end of the day, if you have something you love, more power to you, and I hope it succeeds and it gains all the support it needs, because there's nothing like loving a video game only to have it canceled or fail. And that's happened, a lot. Oh man, I think I like this game a little too much. Yeah. Anyway, Clive out.